Feel rusty. Okay, we want to welcome everyone to our Redox Nurse Talk. I'm so excited to have everybody here, and I feel lost. And I want to thank my co-worker or co-partner, Doria Stewart, for doing the Zoom last week. I was out. We had a meeting here, and Terry Latham came. So I kind of panicked and we thought, what we're going to do. So Doria she did a beautiful job. I watched it, and everybody raved about it. So thank you, Doria, for doing that. We do want to welcome you to Nurse Talk, like I said, and this is just to educate people about this technology and what it can do for the body. I will state our disclaimer. Redox does not diagnose, treat, or cure any disease. It just gives the body what it needs to take care of itself. A few housekeeping rules. So keep yourself muted if you can until afterwards when we start answering questions. And if you have to get up from your computer, if you're going to be moving around, just take the video off so it's not distracting to the speakers. And we appreciate that. We have an awesome guest tonight, Dorothy Dabney. We're going to let Doria introduce her later in the show. But first, I want to introduce Doria and let her give a quick testimonial of herself. So Doria Stewart is a nurse from Atlanta. And so Doria, I will let you give your testimony and we'll go from there.
Okay, thank you, Cindy. So yes, first of all, I say Cindy's trained me really well because I'm not very technically oriented. So I was able to do last week's call, and then I had these Robin Short, who's on right now. She and Dr. Marianne Sides closed it out because I got frozen at the very end of our call. So they were gracious to step in. But yeah, so this technology was presented to me by a very dear friend who's a dentist here in the Georgia area. Just like Cindy alluded, I live in a little town called Beaufort, Georgia. I have been a nurse for 42 years, but he just kind of reached out to me and said, "Hey, Dory, this might be something that you may want to look into, something you may want to try to do when you retire." And when he first presented to me, I thought, I'll take a look at it and see what it is. I didn't think I had any health challenges. And I think I deceived myself a lot because being a nurse as long as I have, it's just wear and tear on your body as nurses. And as we age, I'm 67. You think, okay, this is something I'm going to have to deal with. I'm going to have to deal with these, like little aches that you have in your joints and your feet and your back, and it just the way it is. But, I trusted my friend and I said, sure, I'll take a look at the information. And I'm going to say that the biggest thing that really caught my attention was our founders, Vertus Norton. And if you ever have a chance to look at the Genesis story, it's really about, we wouldn't be here today hadn't it been for Vertus Norton. And Dorothy's going to probably elaborate a little bit more on that because she's been associated with this company for 11 years. But I went ahead and, I thought, this is something I can do when I retire. So I decided to go on the product. And just like a lot of us have experienced, the third day I drank it, I slept like a baby through the night. And it doesn't matter what time of the night I go to bed, I sleep very soundly. I dream, I wake up refreshed. I would say within a few months, all my aches and pains, or I shouldn't say pain, aches and stiffness, and all left all my joints. And I just felt revived and regenerated, and I could work those long shifts and not have any problems afterwards. It's done a lot of little things, like I don't deal with any sinus issues anymore. I don't have any allergy issues. Recently I'm just going to say this real quick. I had injured my back. I had fallen, and my back, my surgeon, spinal surgeon, said, "Dory, you need surgery." And I said, "No, I'm not going to do surgery because most of the back patients I've taken care of over the years end up having chronic issues and they have limited mobility." So while I was on the product, I just upped my dosage of it. And I would say in about 60 days, all my mobility, mobility returned, where I wasn't limited. I could do pretty much anything I wanted, and all the discomfort left. And then that's been over 2 years ago. Never had the back surgery, never took a narcotic, didn't do muscle relaxers. It was all related to this wonderful technology. So I'll be on it the rest of my life. It is not eternity in the bottle, but it is something that is foundational to our health. And if I do vitamins and CBD oil and all those things, but those are just the little, I call it the building materials that help, nourish ourselves. But this is foundational and it's non-toxic. So it's a awesome technology. And I'm glad that some of you that got invited on this evening are taking a look at this. So thank you, Cindy.
Thank you, Doria. And I will give my short testimony. I'm a nurse here in Nashville, and I'm actually a hospice nurse at this point. So I had some autoimmune challenges I was dealing with and been on the product for about 4 years. And over time, this has taken me off any medications that I was on, and I'm symptom free at this point. But the energy, like Doria talks about, the sleep is better. The energy is really awesome. I have to really make myself go to bed sometimes, and that can be a problem because then I have to get up early. But it's good, and I love the fact that I don't have to take naps anymore like I used to. But with this product and this technology, with hospice, I see so many patients that are struggling and patients that they've made some poor choices in their life with their health. And I don't want to go down that road. And so I'm willing to do anything I can, especially if it's natural, holistic, native to the body with no side effects that I can take that will possibly prevent or just keep your health the optimal that it can be. So that, and I'm like Dory, I will always be on the product. So we're going to show you a short video. Some of you may have seen this. This is Alan Noble's Real Redox Results. And if anyone is new, there's a website that you can check out. It is called Real Redox Results. And there are, I think to date, 134 testimonials. And you can search based on the categories. And each video is usually 4 to 6. Some may be longer testimonials, but they're pretty amazing. So let me share my screen and we will go and start that. It's been a while. I've got to remember how to do all this.
Hello, my name is Alan Noble and welcome to RealRedoxResults.com. On this website, you have access to lots of videos of real people sharing real results that they've experienced using ASEA's advanced redox signaling technology. You can simply browse through the videos or pick a particular subject that is important to you. However, if this is your first introduction to ASEA, then allow me to give you a brief overview so you can better understand why people are experiencing such amazing results. ASEA Redox represents a cutting-edge health and anti-aging technology, a new category in science that for 2 decades science had declared was impossible. A technology that many experts are calling the single greatest health science breakthrough of our lifetime. A great place to start is to get clear on what ASEA Redox is not. It is not a vitamin, a mineral, antioxidant, exotic juice, essential oil, or CBD oil. In fact, this technology goes beyond nutrition and ingredients, and yet can impact your health at a depth that no other supplement has ever come close to achieving. For many people, ASEA Redox is the missing link to better health and vitality. To grasp this breakthrough, you must understand that your body is the most complex communication network on Earth. Every second of every day, your cells pass tremendous amounts of important information throughout the body. Any breakdown in this communication, in this signaling, and you cannot achieve your full health potential. A simple example, your home goes on fire and you call the fire department. They have the fire truck, firefighters, fire hose, everything they need to put out the fire. However, if you don't have a good cell signal, they don't get the message and your home goes up in flames. Well, it's the same in your body. If your cells can't signal, then little else matters. ASEA Redox is the world's first redox signaling supplement that harnesses the power of the same redox signaling molecules that your body uses for this critical signaling process. This astonishing technology with 2 delivery systems, the ASEA Redox drink and the topical gel, Renew 28, has been validated by third-party independent science, and thanks to multiple patents, there is nothing else like it in the world. In a recent independent 8-week study with Torre Laboratories, a leading genetic research lab, it was found that drinking ASEA Redox could increase important gene signaling pathways by up to 31%, impacting 5 major areas of health: immune function, inflammatory response, cardiovascular and digestive health, as well as hormone balance. So at this point, let's take a listen to what health and medical professionals are saying about ASEA's redox signaling technology.
Inside every cell in your body, you're constantly producing negative and positive molecules called oxidants and reductants. And the contraction of that name is redox.
So with these molecules, we're amping up that communication. We're helping that cell signal.
Without these cell signaling molecules, we simply wouldn't do the gene replication that we need, the DNA sequencing that we need. These redox signaling molecules interact throughout the body with every cell that we know.
Every cell in our body needs these molecules for communication purposes. The more balanced they are, the more abundant they are, the healthier we are.
ASEA actually has the combination of the oxidants and the reductants that the body makes. So all we're doing with ASEA is enhancing what the body is already doing.
Having a product, a technology that's native to the body doesn't have to worry about detoxifying it because it knows exactly what to do with redox molecules. It's one of, if not the safest recommendation I ever make to a patient.
They found a way to stabilize them outside the body. And you can actually put them back into bodies that are deficient in those molecules. That's a game changer.
To have something that at its molecular level is native to the body is nothing short of a breakthrough.
This is something that's foundational for health, for every cell. It affects every cell in our body. And not just the cells, but the very DNA within those cells. You know, we talk about the discovery of DNA as being a huge breakthrough, the discovery of penicillin. Yes, these were absolutely huge discoveries, but now we have something that actually goes even deeper.
Redox signaling molecules are like the DNA whisperer. They signal cells to be healthy. And because of age, because of medications, because of toxicity in the environment, you lose your ability to make the redox signaling molecules. So having them with ASEA simply replenishes what your body is doing natively when you were young. You know, I've been in the business for 40 years, and this is the first time that I've ever heard about the redox signaling molecules, which to me is a breakthrough of the 21st century, akin to the electric light bulb in the 20th century and maybe even the discovery of penicillin. Because your body is a redox signaling program, and to be able to replenish it on a day-to-day basis, internally and externally, is not just a breakthrough, it's a game changer.
So as you can hear, ASEA Redox truly is being hailed as the most significant health science breakthrough of our lifetime. And it's not just health. Casual athletes all the way to Olympic athletes are experiencing improvements in endurance, strength and recovery, beating personal bests and breaking documented world records. In a recent university study, mice drinking ASEA for only 7 days ran 29% further to exhaustion due to significant metabolic shifts as their body started to burn more fat as fuel. And I'm sure you've heard it said that seeing is believing. Well, this same technology, when applied to the skin, results in a healthy, clear complexion, tighter, younger-looking skin, while dramatically reducing wrinkles, stretch marks, cellulite, and many other signs of aging, all while using the body's natural renewal processes. I want to thank you for taking some time and watching this brief overview. I would now encourage you to explore some of the other videos featuring people that I've had the pleasure of interviewing over the last year or so. Real people sharing real redox results. This is Alan Noble thanking you for your time today, and bye for now.
You know, Doria, we have played this video so many times, and I actually picked up something tonight that I didn't really pay attention to before, but how many times have you gone to your doctor and he's recommended something that he has said, this is totally safe and the safest thing I could recommend with no toxicity, no side effects? Dr. Dick Walker just said that. That's one of the safest things he recommends for his patients. That's awesome. That's unheard of. But anyway, that just caught my attention. So I'm going to turn this over to Doria and let her introduce our guest. And afterwards, we'll have a short session for questions and answers because we do have a super Zoom on at 8 o'clock that I'm sure people want to hop on to there. So Doria, I will let you take it from here.
All right. So I have the great honor to introduce you to Dorothy Dabney. I met her in a Super Saturday, learning about this technology. You can never not learn. You learn something new every day, just like Cindy had stated. But Dorothy is a native of Charlottesville, Virginia. She lives some of her time in Florida. She kind of goes back and forth. I'm just going to read a little bit about her education. Her formal education is in art and design. She's worked in the field extensively as a creator of a one-of-a-kind wearable art. Would love to see that sometime. Hand screen fabric design and designer of painted giftware from India and other parts of Asia. Her art journey also eventually led her to teaching K through 8th grade art. Her other lifelong love is fitness and motivating others to stay healthy through diet, exercise, and living a positive lifestyle. She enjoys running, teaching aerobics, weight training, and step workout. She's married to Bill for now 33 years. She has 3 children and 2 grandchildren. She loves to travel, and with being with this wonderful company of ASEA that has this breakthrough technology, she's been in for 11 years. So I'm going to, what I'm going to do, Dorothy, is I just want to know, where were you? And that's been 11 years ago, before ASEA crossed your path.
Well, and thank you so much. I'm really honored you asked me to be here, Cindy and Doria. Where was I? You know, I was feeling like I was in a good place. I was living in Charlottesville. Life was good. I wasn't sure what was next because I was going through some changes and some transitions, and I thought I was pretty healthy, and so yeah, I was okay. I didn't have a health issue, which a lot of people might share that, when they first start saying where they are at a certain place in their life.
Okay, so then who introduced this to you, and so what piqued your interest to it? So you didn't have any health challenges, but so was there something that kind of like like a little light bulb came on to say, maybe I need to look into this?
Yes and no, because someone at my church, and I trusted her. I liked her very much, but I remember one Sunday she just started telling me about this stuff she'd heard of, and I was like, what are you talking about? Because she was kind of fumbling as she was trying to say what it was, and I kind of ignored it, although she did mention the name of a doctor who is very well known all over the world. His name is Zach Bush, and he was her doctor at the time, and he was recommending it in his private practice. And Dr. Bush had been at the University of Virginia on the faculty. So I thought, but I still wasn't, I thought, I don't need that. I'm good. So I ignored her for a while.
So did I hear? I was reading a little bit about your bio, said that you heard this famous, I would say famous doctor that was pretty well known. So did you? When was the point that you decided to experience the product? So talk to us about that.
Sure. It took about 2 months, and Sarah was very persistent. She would call me, she would leave messages, and I was like, why does she suddenly want to be my best friend? That's what it felt like. But I had watched one video, and I have to say, this is so crazy, your perception of things. It was Alan Noble. We had very little information at the time. And I remember thinking, this guy sounds like he's from the moon. And I think he had a heavier Irish accent. And that was just my small-mindedness. But it was in the middle of the night. A couple months later, I thought, okay, I'm going to order it. And at the time, the way the websites were set up, Sarah didn't even know I had ordered. So it took me 2 months.
Okay, so you how much did you order? I mean, back then, was it like a case at a time that you were ordering?
They had, they had the auto ship set up, and they also had, they had a bonus. I think if you ordered 3, you got 1 free, but I ordered 4 bottles. That was it. The cheapest thing there was. Regret, but anyway, yes.
Yeah. So what did you start experiencing once you started it?
Well, and this is the truth. A lot of people will say, oh, it tastes terrible. It tastes, everybody has it. I never tell somebody it's going to taste like anything, because for me, it had no taste. And I took a sip, and this is the honest truth. I felt a brightness. I just felt a focus that was happening, and it was a good feeling. So, that was my first impression of it. And I don't know, I just felt a little bit of energy too, that I think maybe, a day or so later.
So your intent was just to buy these 4 bottles and maybe just drink the whole 4 bottles. So what, after drinking the 4 bottles, would that take you about a month to drink that?
It took me about a month, but I had started noticing things before the month was over. And yeah, but and I think I even signed up as an associate, but I don't think I knew what I was doing. But I think I did pay, the initial associate sign up fee. That was $40 at the time.
So you came in at the associate level, which is $40, which you don't, to start a new business is pretty economical for most people. So, but you didn't have any intentions of sharing this with anyone. You just came in because you got a better discount.
Well, yes. I mean, I don't even know that I got a better discount, but I thought, why not? $40. What do I have to lose? So,
okay. All right. So that was 11 years ago. So I imagine you've been on the product for all this time. So what other things have you noticed that are pretty, phenomenal to you?
And at this point, I have to put my glasses on because I have such a long list. And, if you have to stop me, just tell me, hey, time's up. It took about 3 weeks where I was feeling extra energy. And I remember my shoulder started popping. And I thought, what is that about? And, that's the thing. We don't think we have anything wrong with us until we feel better than we did. And about 3 weeks into drinking this and being a runner, I had knee surgery prior to drinking a C. I'd had it a few years before that. And about 2 years after, it was a meniscus tear. 2 years after the surgery, I started experiencing some discomfort in my knee. So I got some physical therapy exercises. If I did those exercises every day, I didn't have discomfort, except sometimes I still would. So 3 weeks into drinking it, I decided I'm going to stop doing the exercises and see what happens. And that was over 11 years ago, because I've never missed a day. And that was at 4 ounces. Also the popping in my shoulder. Now here's another thing. Nothing's wrong with me. Oh yeah, I did have a torn rotator cuff from many years ago. And I could not lean on this side, on my right side, much less sleep on it. And 3 months, almost 3 months to the day, I woke up, I had slept all night on my right side. And I was like, what is going on? And that began, as we use the word cascading, I mean, so many things. As a runner, I noticed, I did, 5Ks and 10Ks mostly, but I noticed my race times in the next 3 years got faster and faster by a minute, so 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. And, and I wasn't doing anything other than sometimes I would drink a little before the race and maybe drink some after, but not, regular effort when I was just running during the week. Let's see, there's so much about, I also had something where it's a condition where if you jerk really fast, it tears fiber away from your ribs. And there is a name for it, but I won't say it. And it's really painful. And it would happen maybe a couple times a year. And after I started drinking this, that never happened again, which was really nice, because it was almost like the feeling of breaking a rib, but it wasn't that, but it felt bad enough as that. And about 3 years into it, my precious dog that also drank Redox had a new leash. It was a retractable leash, and I saw myself on the ground because of this new leash and a squirrel over there. And I broke my wrist. I went to the doctor and they said, oh, we recommend surgery because probably the bones will shift and we don't know what things will be like in a few years. And so I said no to the surgery, but I just upped my amount. And at that time, I think I drank 10 to 12 ounces a day for the next several months, and no problem with that. I had an issue of cold feet. I always wore socks to bed. I don't wear socks to bed anymore. I mean, that was a given, the heat of summer, socks. Let's see. Oh, and I will put these on because my eyes, they haven't gotten worse, but they've stayed the same. And about 2 years ago, I went to the eye doctor. I need to go again, but he was astounded at this stage in my life that I'm not closer to needing cataract surgery. And he said, usually people of this stage in your life are lining up for it. And I wasn't even at a stage 1. And they said that it was a stage 4 when they suggest this. I don't know. I haven't really read up on it otherwise and I have a picture. I don't have to show it, but I do put drops in my eyes. And I used to, at that time, before I was spraying them, but I highly recommend using it in the eyes, especially. And the other thing too, I love to get in my car and go on road trips. I drive solo. I drove across the United States back in May. It was a bucket list thing. I drove from Virginia to Arizona by myself. Every day it was about a 9-hour drive. And I would just drink my Redox. And I was also using the cell performance. I'd use the mind and the energy. But even before that, I've been driving. People always say, how can you drive so far in one day? And because prior to Redox, I would wake up the next day and it took me probably a day to recover. It's intense. It's keeping your eyes on the road. But anyway, I drove across the United States, and every day was pretty much 9 hours, except for I spent 2 nights in Kansas City. But I arrived in Arizona, and I was just like, yes, it was something I had wanted to do. And from there, I met up with a friend and we hiked for 4 days in Sedona. And then we went to northern Arizona and then southern Utah. Just every day was an adventure of more hiking. And she, by the way, has been drinking Redox longer than I have. And so it was kind of fun to have that in common and just see how our stamina, our endurance, I feel like I'm 30 and I am not 30. So let's see what else. Can I keep going?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm just amazed. And you've been on 11 years, and the thing is initially, I know that I have a person on this call that had come in wanting to see something. Like she said, well, I'd really like to have this done first, but when you take the molecules go to the greatest need in your body, and they'll begin to repair those or detect a dysfunction and begin to repair the cells and restore them. So what we're thinking in our mind, we want this to happen first. It's already going someplace else. And so I just love hearing, all these different things that, could have curtailed your activity as you've gotten old. I mean, it's amazing to me that you drove across the country. You were able to go hiking and do all that you did, because I know it's mentally tiresome to do that, and just to be able to do the things that you enjoy, and not have to think, I'm going to have to, rest or whatever. It's just amazing. I love, just hearing about all these different things that have occurred in your life. Now, you mentioned something about the self, so you use the self-performance, the mind, and the energy, and then we have the mood. Have you had an experience with the mood or our new product, the Radiance?
I drink all of them. And in fact, before I came on this call tonight, and I know that's what Alan Noble does before he does a talk, he'll drink the mood and the mind together. Are you drinking it also right now?
Yeah.
Love it. And otherwise I will drink the mood often as a hot beverage before I go to bed. And I like it. And the radiance, oh my gosh, my husband, I didn't tell my husband I was doing this tonight. He just texted me, are you on another call? Well, yesterday he works in Florida and we're not always together. And he texted me yesterday and said, I think the radiance is making my hair grow much faster. It's thicker. And yes, we've both been using it. And I like, I'm sorry, I got another text here. I like the radiance very much. I've been drinking it since it came out in May, I think, and I try to do that every day. So highly recommend all of them.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And do you also use our skincare products as well?
I do.
Mhm.
And in my past, I've been famous for going to those makeup counters and they do a makeover and I buy that stuff and I never use it because it's too much trouble. And the skincare I find is so easy and it feels really good. So
Yeah, awesome.
it's just
Well, what I wanted to ask you, and I'm gonna let Cindy, if she's got some questions. So you've been with ASEA for 11 years. Tell us about the culture. So you mentioned you met Dr. Gary Samuelson, and kind of for those that don't know who he is, what part does he play in this whole realm that we're talking about? And then just share a little bit about meeting Virtus and what the culture means to you.
And this is when I get really, really emotional because I went to an event like shortly after I had started drinking this, and Virtus Norton was there. Dr. Gary Samuelson was there. And if you don't know who Dr. Gary Samuelson is, he led the team that did the impossible. And he says that he was divinely guided. If you believe that, I believe that. And he is the one that stabilized these molecules. So we have them in a bottle. They don't turn back into salt water. We have them with a 2-year shelf life or so. And when you meet Dr. Gary, and I've also done a course with him, he's so humble and he does not take credit whatsoever. He always puts it either on God or just another entity. And I remember meeting Virtus. He was just like somebody from your church. He stood there next to me, and this was a small gathering, and I think I said, I like your tie, Virtus. And he was very, very quick and welcoming. And another time that I saw him, I took him some cookies. And this was an event in North Carolina. And I said, Virtus, I made you some cookies. They're gluten-free. And he said, that's okay, I'll eat them anyway. Which, he's just so real. And this is what sold me. And I don't like to even think of this as selling. It's just sharing from your heart something that people deserve to know about. And the culture, this, like I said, I bought 4 bottles. I signed up. I had no intention of sharing this. I thought I had joined a cult. I didn't understand how it was sold. But when I went to this gathering, it was in Maryland, and met like Dr. Gary and also Virtus and all these leaders that are in the company now that were much younger, meaning in their journey with ASEA. I just felt like I was among family, and I have so many friends. I go to an event, it's like a family reunion, and they're, I don't necessarily see them or keep up with them, but when we see each other, we all have the same intention of helping other people. And the other part of the culture is I have gone on 2 ASEA Advancing Life Foundation trips. And if you don't know what that is something that ASEA started, I think, back about 2016, 17. And you can donate money to this cause, and 100% of the funds go toward helping areas of the world. I have been to Ecuador. I went there in 2017, and we were the first group to show up to start work on a vocational school that allowed these young people to continue their education and learn a trade. And it was a rural, very small area. They had nothing. And we stayed in homes, you know, just with these people that were so wonderful and giving. And there you are in South America. And it felt so good. And the school has been finished. That's a project that they're no longer, you know, working on. But in 2020, I got on a plane right in March of 2020 when the whole world was shutting down. I had so many people saying, "You're not going to Cambodia." I'm like, "Of course I'm going to Cambodia." And so I was there for 10 days, and the project that we were part of, they were building water wells, and also we visited health centers, we visited schools, and we saw the most giving, wonderful people that had so little. And it just, it makes you grow, and it just makes you want to say yes to life. And pardon me, but I'm just so grateful, because here at this point in my life, I see friends. I have to say, none of my high school friends will even look at this. They think I'm crazy. And I say, let them think I'm crazy, because they're all shutting down and turning into old people. And there's nothing wrong with aging. It's a wonderful thing, but do it and have fun and have purpose. So anyway, I'm also signed up. I haven't bought the ticket yet, but I'm supposed to go to Zambia, where that is the next Advancing Life project that's happening, and a group of ASEA people are going, and I hope to be there. This will be in July. So it's a wonderful culture, and I'm so happy. I know, you know, you, Doria, and Cindy, and other people that I might know on this call, like Nancy Scharf. It's my family.
Yes, yes, it is. I love that. So thank you so much. I appreciate you so much. I'll have you, Cindy, if you have some questions for Dorothy.
I had one, but she covered it. So I'll just talk about this, or I'll ask you, Dorothy. And I realize we are not corporate America as the traditional corporate America, but what other company could you imagine that would have a purpose? You know, most companies are out for profit only. And what other company would you see them focus this much time and money into, like the Advancing Life Foundation? And the fact that you got together, that's awesome. I mean, that tells you that's a true company with a heart, and I like that.
Absolutely. And I had no experience in relationship marketing, word of mouth marketing, other than what we do every day, which is recommend a restaurant or a movie to someone. And it bristled me at first when I joined this and thought, oh my gosh, am I making money off of people? But it's more like helping people, and the company sends you a thank you check. And I'm one of the blessed ones that got to be around Vertus Norton quite a bit, and have him say directly to me, will you help me get this out to the world? And how do you say no to that? So yeah, I you know, and I've heard other people who have joined the ASEA project, the ASEA movement, however you want to call it, that came from other companies, and they said, you have no idea. You just have no idea what you have in your hands.
Right. And it is definitely a blessing. I think that's all I have. Like I said, you covered everything, and that's an awesome testimonial. If you want to, we can go ahead and, Dory, did you have anything else? And we can open it
No,
up for
no,
questions.
that's incredible. Thank you.
Okay. If someone has a question, just raise your hand and unmute, and Dorothy would be glad to answer any questions you might have. Rita?
Dorothy, thank you so much for your sharing tonight. Did you grow your business a lot with one-on-ones, or did you have a lot of workshops in your home?
I have grown my business more one-on-one. One thing that this taught me that I've enjoyed, I love meeting people. I always have. I love to go to a party with people I don't know. So I thought, well, this is a great avenue. And so I would go to networking events before the pandemic, And now those have started up again. And now, we have the beauty of online as well, and reaching out to people through Facebook or whatever. And the other thing that I've done that some people can't believe, but I am much more comfortable with people I don't know. I cold call. And I've had several associates I've never met in person, but they apparently liked what I had to say and they trusted me. Did I answer your
Right.
question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so I'm gonna put you on a spot, Dorothy. So I'm a person you've never met before. So how would you talk to me?
Well, before I pick up the phone, I would try to know as much about you as I could. I'd see if I could find you on Facebook or whatever. I would just try to know about you. But then I would honestly say, you don't know me. This is where I live, whatever. I have your business card, or I saw your name in a magazine, or, tours. I travel a lot, and I pick up information about businesses, and I'd say I was intrigued, and I work with something that has to do with cellular health, and I'm wondering if you'd be open to learning more. And then they say, well, what is that, or whatever. And then I try to not talk fast. I try to just say something more, and then I stop and say, would you like me to keep going? So I give them an out, if they're like, no way. But I think because I try to, they used to say, and they still do, I believe whomever match the hatch, try to listen to the way they talk and mirror that to them. But I just try to find something in common, and
I love that. Thank you. It's good.
So, Dorothy, since you were a skeptic, how many people have you crossed paths with that have actually kind of done the same thing to you? They don't take your calls, or, they're not interested.
Oh boy, how many? I can't count, but that's part of it. And it's hard, at times it's easy to feel discouraged, but that's why you try to stay in touch and connected to people in the family, and even people that are not in the family. Just you have to kind of build a thicker skin. And I'm very sensitive, and I don't like rejection. Who does? But it's part of it. And I think we just have so much support in this company, and talk to someone else or reach out to somebody and do something nice for them, and that always comes back.
That's true. That's awesome. Any other questions for Dorothy? Dorothy, I'm sure you've seen a lot and seen a lot of miracles in people's lives. As long as you've been in this company, there's no doubt you've just touched thousands of lives with what you've shared.
I would say so, and it's such a joy. And you're never. I still, even though I'm not surprised, I'm surprised, and it's delightful when that this is making a difference for somebody else. Yeah, and it just you have to just understand by being around the people, as I'm sure Doria, you and Cindy, and anyone else who is here that is not a guest, that you're sharing this with people, or maybe you're not, and you're just experiencing it personally.
Yeah. So let me ask you, so if we do probably have some people on the call that are already experiencing the redox and the benefits of it, what would you say to the people that are on this call maybe for the first time? Why should they look at this?
To me, everyone should know what this is. It is, and you hear the cliche, oh, it's not like anything else, but it really isn't. It is. A lot of people will say, oh, I use supplements and I do this and this, but this is native to the body. We make this. Every single process that happens in the body is a result of a redox reaction. If we don't have redox molecules, we don't live. And it's like oxygen, it's like blood, and we lose them as we get older. And so why not put them back in? Why not be younger? It also, as I've read, it creates more mitochondria. And that first time I heard that was from that doctor, Dr. Zach Bush, who said that and I don't know if this can be quoted, but he said that it creates 30% more mitochondria, and that's the power plant of the cell. And that's where these redox molecules are made. So if you've got more mitochondria, it's an energy thing. So you're bound to be younger and move younger and act younger. We're all going to pass at some point. We don't get out of this alive, but why not transition feeling good on the very last day? I just, to me, it's a birthright.
Yeah.
And I think I get on tangents, so I apologize. I should probably have
Oh
another.
no, I love you're full of sunshine, and you can see the passion in you can hear it in your voice, you can see it in your face, and I'm sure when you see people on a one-on-one, they see exactly what we're seeing this evening on the Zoom is your heart's coming through your voice and then in your face. So, and that's really what we're excited about. We all have a why while we're sharing this, and you've already shared what that is because of meeting Vertus, and and this is his mission to get this out to as many people as he can. And that's how I feel. If I can just touch one life, I feel like that I've done something. I got into it more about, because Cindy and I are nurses, and we got into nursing because we want to help people and we're educators. And so I'm just thankful if one person, I think I get upset when you say rejection, it's because the thing is, they don't know what we know, but that's okay. You just got to meet them where they are. And eventually maybe they'll come back later and look at it. But this has been a wonderful call. So is there anybody else that has a question or a comment? You can just state a comment. You don't have to ask a question, but anybody just like to share one thing with Dorothy?
It's really nice to be here. And if any of you, if you're a guest or if you're not a guest and you have a question, or if there's anything that I can do for anyone on this call, it's my pleasure. And when I first started going to conferences and conventions, and I've been to a lot of them, I would always try to meet people that I didn't know and say, what's your story? What's your story? And connect with them that way. And we help each other. That's what's really fun about this. And I will say that I get to work with Dr. David Silverman, who is on the medical professional board, and he's among many. There's so many great people in this company, but David's I think his email is called Kid Again, or his company is Kid Again, and I think he's 63, but he can turn it around to 36, where last year he would turn it around to 26. But at any rate, he's fun and he knows a lot, but he it's all part of that same, we want to help people. So
yeah. I think I see Kirk. Kirk, you got your hand up.
Yes, good evening, Dorothy. Nice to meet you on here. I didn't get to meet you at convention, but it was so powerful. I wanted to meet David Silverman because I did in September of 2018 when I'd first been introduced, and and since I found out he was a podiatrist and I was having the Charcot foot issues from diabetes, but he encouraged me to and I tell Terry Latham, I can only tell so many people to jump in with both feet because that's what I had to do. And I know that without this technology and people like you to push it forward, I wouldn't be here.
Oh boy, I am humbled and so happy that you came forward to say that, because it inspires me, you know, the person who's speaking here tonight saying I didn't have anything wrong with me, and I have been very blessed for my life, just having good health, or feeling good. And I'm so glad that somebody opened their mouth to share this with you, Kirk. And so you're doing the same and you're paying it forward. That's remarkable. I hope I get to meet you at the next convention. Sounds like I will. Or the next, it's not a convention this year. It's going to be, what do they call it? Just a conference in Salt Lake, but it'll be like a convention.
You know, Lord willing, and if I don't keep tempting, you know, the gods to take me home, like Sunday, you know, I was in a rollover accident on the highway going 50 miles an hour, and we hit a highway sign at 50 miles an hour, and I'm hard-headed, and I was not buckled in, and I bounced all around the inside of that cabin of the truck. And I know, because of redox, that I didn't tense up, and you know, I've got a small bump on my head, no concussion, and no, you know, and I'm in a little bit of discomfort, but nothing, you know, a deep bruise in my right thigh. And they told me, you know, by day 3, and today's day 2, that I'd just be in excruciating pain. And I've been up, walking, stretching, moving, and up, and I do have a procedure on Thursday of a fistulogram, because of some issues back when they when they got me with vancomycin, and went through red man syndrome, and completely flatlined and all of that good stuff. But that's behind me. But I'm upping my ASEA to, you know, 16 to 24 ounces a day, even though my nurses are telling me stop all supplements and all of that. Well, they don't know what I know. Nothing to, you know, nurses are so powerful and do such good work, and I love these ladies here. But I you know, will do 2 bottles before my procedure on Thursday.
That's awesome, Kirk. And as you've learned, and I know with your wife too, with Karen, you have to be your own advocate for yourself. And if you don't feel comfortable with what some doctors sometimes suggest, you know, doesn't hurt to question it, doesn't hurt to get a second opinion. So you all were very smart in that respect. We are going to go ahead and close it out. So and thank you for sharing, Kurt. I know Dorothy really enjoyed hearing, and she needs to go hear your testimony on Alan Noble's real redox results if she hasn't heard it. It's amazing. But if anyone is new, just get back to the person that invited you to the Zoom, and they can answer any questions, or you can reach out to one of us. We will upload the recording to our YouTube channel, which is Redox Nurse Talk. That should be up by in the morning, so you can send people there, or you can rewatch the replay. So thank you for joining us. And Doria, you want to share to who we'll have on next Tuesday?
Yes, so we're having Barbie Bassett. So she's out of Mississippi, right, Cindy? Yeah.
Right.
So we're looking forward to having her as well. We've had some wonderful people, and we so thank you, Dorothy, for being on here with us tonight. You were a breath of sunshine. Really enjoyed your testimony.
We absolutely do, Dorothy. Thank you so much. I am going to stop the recording, and we're going to, let me find stop. There we go.